In May of 2026, the United States House of Representatives passed the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2027. Buried inside that legislation, past the headlines about defense budgets and military pay raises, is a provision called Section 224. Its official title is the United States-Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative. Here is the concern that keeps me up at night as a paralegal who has spent years reading the fine print of federal documents. When you embed foreign-designed subcomponents and proprietary foreign algorithms directly into core United States defense systems, you do not just create a partnership, you create a dependency. This is not a partisan issue. It is a sovereignty issue. Once American military systems are structurally dependent on foreign supply chains and foreign intellectual property, Washington loses the ability to pursue independent foreign policy in the Middle East that deviates from the strategic goals of the foreign partner whose technology now runs inside our weapons systems. Think about what that means. If the United States ever needed to take a diplomatic position that conflicted with Israeli policy, our own defense infrastructure could be the leverage used against us. That is not a hypothetical, that is what strategic dependency does. History documents it repeatedly, and Section 224, as currently written, builds that dependency into federal law. There is a second problem that is equally serious. The accelerated procurement pathways built into Section 224 do not just speed up technology transfer, they bypass the oversight mechanisms that exist to protect American interests and American values. The Leahy Law, named for Senator Patrick Leahy, prohibits United States military assistance to foreign security forces that have committed gross human rights violations. It is a cornerstone of American law governing how and to whom we transfer military technology. Independent watchdogs and civil liberties organizations have warned, documented in the congressional record, that the bypass mechanisms in Section 224 effectively shield bilateral technology transfers from Leahy law vetting. That is not the America the Constitution describes. The third problem is operational, and it may be the most immediately dangerous. Section 224 mandates data fusion, the merging of sensitive American military networks with foreign systems for real-time battlefield integration. Every cybersecurity professional will tell you the same thing. Every additional node you add to a network expands your attack surface. Every foreign system you integrate into your most sensitive military infrastructure is a potential vector for hostile intelligence operations. China and Russia, both of whom actively target American and Israeli defense networks, would not need to breach two separate hardened systems. They would only need to find one vulnerability in the merged network to potentially access both. History documents the risk of unauthorized secondary technology transfers, proprietary American defense concepts compromised within foreign networks, moving to adversarial states through back channels that bypass American export controls. Section 224 does not address these documented risks adequately. It accelerates integration. It does not protect it. I want to be clear about what I am and what I am not saying. I am not saying the United States and Israel should not cooperate on defense technology. I am not saying the bilateral relationship is without value. Cooperative defense relationships between democratic allies have served American interests for decades. What I'm saying, as a paralegal who has read this legislation, is that Section 224, as written, goes far beyond cooperation. It creates mandatory dependency. It bypasses established oversight, it removes human rights vetting from technology transfer, and it expands our cybersecurity exposure in ways that benefit our adversaries. As of June 2026, Section 224 is in conference committee. The Senate version contains tempering amendments that would restore discretionary authority and standard oversight provisions. The final text has not been determined. That means there is still time for the American people to make their voices heard to their representatives. This is what Words with Wentz exists to do, not to tell you what to think, but to make sure you have read what your government is actually doing, in your name, with your defense, and your tax dollars. The documents are public. The congressional record is public. The bill text is public. The links are in the description of this video. Read them. This is Words with Wentz. Know your rights.
Let the signal cut through the noise. reading between the lines. Every story leaves a trace.